people are beginning to see the need for creating our own informal places where we can meet, or where people can be attracted who haven't necessarily directly in our social circles, where people will come in and find out. It's a form of outreach about anarchist politics, I think, community organising and radical politics, environmental politics, and without this kind of space, people often don't know how to find out about that stuff. Aspire is a Scottish social space. That means that we, an ever-changing collective, decided to find a building, open it up for public use, and then create a space that people are inspired by, feel creative in, that they can work with others, teach people new things, learn new things, have fun, and do it without having to pay for everything. There aren't any permanent social spaces in Leeds at the moment that are non-commercial. There are, of course, pubs and clubs that people hang out in, but unlike other cities, there isn't a group of people wanting to set up a permanent social space. Aspire is a temporary space because the people involved don't have the time to commit to it all the time. Aspire is a very intense experience. You have to have people living here because it's a squat. Aspire started about 4 years ago. The first squat cafe that was in Leeds wasn't called Aspire. It was the Cookridge Street Cafe. But then the second squat was a huge church, and the name Aspire came out of a very interesting collective decision-making process, but it pleased everybody. Since then, this is I think the 7th squat. It's been quite short, this one, 10 days, where we've used council property. We've had council officers around. Where we've used university property, we were taken to court. Where we used the property of a private landlord, they took us to court, and they also tried to block off the water supply, and we've always had police interest, and this is the first time there's been nothing. We opened the building up to the public on the 5th of December, and since then there have been about 40 people involved in making things happen here. Actually more than that, thinking about it, probably more like 50 or 60. On top of that, there have been at least 350 people through the doors for the party night, for the films, for the benefit gigs, a local band night, queer night. There's been a really big range of events, and it's been really exciting. Doing a squat cafe is a really full-on experience because you need to have a strong group. You need to have made sure that there are enough people staying over all the time, that there are going to be people to be here every day to clear up, to put on events, to make sure that electrics are going to be okay, that the water's going to be okay. The advice I would give people who want to do something this public and with this much stuff going on is make sure you've got a really big group and that it works well together.
Delia Smith, eat your heart out. It's always nice to have things.
quite a strong social centre scene in the UK. Certainly Aspire has been going for a few years now. The Occasional Cafe in Manchester is similar, and Eclectic City in Newcastle, and there are similar kind of groups, and well, not groups but kind of evolving collectives around the country. There are also 2 new social centres in Brighton and Nottingham, which are permanent and legal social spaces. Plus, of course, the old ones like the Autonomous Centre of Edinburgh, 1 in 12 in Bradford. The reason that I like temporary social spaces is the lack of bureaucracy and the lack of a need to fulfil criteria to meet legislation, the feeling that you can all decide to leave if you want to, but also, and most importantly, the idea that people coming in realise that actually they're coming into a squat. It's kind of, although legally you were allowed to be there, it's a bit naughty, and for a lot of people coming into a space like that, that might be the most radical thing they've ever done.